Well, thank you very much for staying on here. Now, 3 ministers in 2 years at the Sports Ministry, 7 ministers at the Health Ministry in 6 years. These are just examples of the high turnover rate at at the ministry. All of this, President Mahama has had to reshuffle his government, basically. In a statement, the presidency announced a number of ministers, including Health Minister Kweku Agyeman-Mensah, as well as Sports Minister Mahama Ayarga, having been reassigned to the Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing, and Ministry of Environment, Science and Innovation, respectively. Now, here's a news desk report.
President John Dramani Mahama has reassigned the Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Alhaji Collins Dauda, to the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. A statement signed by Chief of Staff Julius Debra also announced Health Minister Dr. Kweku Agyeman-Mensah as the new Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, with Mahama Ayarga moving to the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. Minister of State at the Presidency, Alhaji Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, takes over as Minister for Youth and Sports, with Akwesi Oponfosu moving to the Presidency as a Minister of State. The statement also announced the President's nomination of Deputy Minister for Defense, Alex Tegbefia, as Minister for Health, and the Headmaster of Tepa Senior High School, Peter Anefi-Mensah, as Ashanti Regional Minister. President Mahama has also nominated the MP for Drabeso, Kwabena Minta Akando, as Deputy Minister for Land and Natural Resources to replace Ebenezer Okletete Labi. The following have also been nominated as Deputy Minister for States: Samuel Yao Edusei, Water Resources, Works and Housing; Kenneth Gebert Ejay, Defense.
Now, does this turnover have any effect or bearing on effective governance? I'm joined over the telephone by Dr. Amwako Ba, who is Head of Political Science Department at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We'll discuss this over the next few minutes. I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Amwako Ba. Hello, Doc. Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us here, Doc.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, Doc, what do you think about what has been described as the high turnover when it comes to the president's government?
Are you talking about the reshuffle?
The reshuffle, indeed.
Well, it is interesting to say the least. I don't know what is going on. You know, to be reshuffling people around all the time like that. It is not a healthy situation at all. How do you get Mahama Ayarga from information to sport, 8 months now to science? I mean, does it mean that any man can occupy any office? It looks like that is what is going on. Right? It is not good at all, because every department, every ministry has its own culture and needs. And the one who's going to head it must learn these things when he goes over there, and then find a way to articulate the needs of the department and chart the course as to how they're going to better the department. But to go there in a short time and then shovel somewhere else, how do you learn, and how do you implement anything in a new department? Indeed.
Doc, how does this affect governance, effective governance, that is?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It means that the leaders, the heads of these departments, the ministers, are not going to be very effective in making sure that the needs of the department, the ministry, are met, right? Because you don't even know it. You have to go there, learn how they do things, what their needs are, and then if you have new ideas, then you put it across, they study it, and then you implement it. But if you keep shuffling people around all the time, let me give you an example. You get Mahama Ayarga from here to there to there. What does he? Is he a Superman? He knows everything. And another question: Mahama Ayarga goes from sports to science. Priyanka goes from sports to presidency. Mahama Ayarga spends more money on Africom than Priyanka spends on World Cup, and yet he is shuffled to science with all the misbehavior. What is going on here?
Doc, I'm going to have you hold the line briefly. David Agbe is Executive Director for the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. He's joined our conversation. Hello, David.
Yes, Kamani, good morning.
Well, thank you very much for your time here. What do you think about the latest reshuffle and essentially the rate at which the reshuffling is done, looking at the specific cases of the health ministry and the sports ministry?
Yes, let me start by saying that with regards to the reshuffling, the way it is becoming more periodic or routine, it is not good for good governance, and it is not good for a learning process. And it will get to a point in time we will lose an institutional memory. In ministries, you have to appoint people who could last there for at least 2 or 3 years down the line, so that they will be able to learn, very well, and be able to have, a grip of institutional memory. So if you keep on shifting people from one point to another, it doesn't depict good governance practices, and people will not be able to learn to have enough knowledge about that field. So it has a certain negative repercussion. However, governance is a very difficult process. Governance is just like, you are managing human beings and managing institutions. So at a point in time, the president will also have a certain strategic interest in whatever that he is doing. So that strategic interest could suggest that the Ministry of, for instance, Mr. Ayarga, now he was a Deputy Minister of Defense, and now he's been pushed as, a substantive Minister for Health. He was, at a point in time, during Smell's time, he was a Deputy Chief of Staff. So if you looked at the portfolio and you are looking at the way things are going, the president wants to position him at a certain place that he thinks that he will be able to execute a task for him. So that is the strategic interest of the president and his governance. So although we have a certain level of repercussions in terms of what they are doing, but I think that the president is also being strategic to make sure that he also achieves, his aim. So governance is a very complex, process. And in politics,
Mr. Gray, just hold on briefly for me. Let me get a comment from Dr. Mwakoba.
Well, look, presidents don't have strategic interests. Countries do. Presidents don't have strategic interests. Countries have strategic interests. What is the strategic interest of moving someone who is a deputy defense minister to health? Tell me, what is it? Does it mean that anyone can occupy any office? David, didn't you learn about Plato?
Well, Doc, let's have Mr. Gray answer that question about strategy. And Mr. Gray, this is for you. What is strategic? I'm repeating Dr. Mwakoba's question. What is strategic about taking the former defense minister to the health ministry?
Yes.
I challenge the views of my lecturer, Dr. Mwakoba, but however, I disagree with him that the president does not have a strategic interest. He has studied American politics very well. I mean, during the time of Obama, 2012, most of the appointments that was done by Obama, people criticized Obama that why is it that these people who do not belong to the stock of the Obama political philosophy, but those people were appointed. One of the things that came from Obama was that politics is a very complex phenomenon. And so people could be appointed to a certain position depending on the situation. So politics, we have a strategic interest in whatever that you do. And so in the global politics, strategy is a very key.
What it is. That's
right,
what
Doc.
I'm asking. What is it here?
Doc, come again. I didn't get that.
Yes, the strategic interest of the president is that the president would like Mr. Ayarga to perform a certain function. Maybe the president has realized
Mr.
that
Gray,
there are certain
exactly
things
what
going on
function?
wrong there, which he wants Ayarga to stop.
Like what?
Strategic interest.
Mr. Gray.
Yes, Kamani.
Like what? What is it that
at the Ministry of Health as you speak? I mean, we could say that the National Health Insurance is not functioning the way we want it to be run. So maybe Ayarga has a global knowledge as far as certain government has managed national health insurance for their country. And so we want to bring those ideas on board. There could be other things over there which other ministers haven't been able to execute. And he, looking at the credentials of Ayarga, he believes that Ayarga could execute those tasks. So why don't we give a room for those people to operate for a certain reasonable period of time, and then we'll be able to assess their performance?
But what reasonable amount of time was given the predecessors?
That one, it is wrong. Dr. Ajman Mensah, for instance, he has been at that ministry not quite long ago. So if you are just reshuffling him as, chairs going round, it is wrong. But however,
Doc,
we also need to give
Mr. Gbe, your point is made. Mr. Gbe, I think your point is made. Let's just hear Doc briefly so we can wrap up on this conversation. Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Right, Doc.
Yes.
Your comments on what Mr. Gbe has been saying so far?
Well, look, as I was saying, presidents, for example, if you have a situation in the health ministry that needs special skills, it is understandable for you to appoint the right person for that situation. That's not what we have here. When you appoint health minister, it's a specialized case. Health ministry is similar to something like the Attorney General's department. If you are not a lawyer, you can't do it, right? If you appoint just anyone to a health ministry, it is not only administering the health system in the country, it is dialoguing with people who are highly educated, doctors. If you go there and your level of education, your standard of articulation is not at par with theirs, you can forget it. They will have no respect for you. So those ones are specialized areas, and you have to be sure that you get the right person. And that is not in any form of administration of Mr. Sebefia. I don't know.
You believe that the president may have made some terrible choices with some of the ministers he's chosen right now?
Well, one thing I have to say is that a headmaster from Tepa, who is coming to be Ashanti regional minister. I mean, I don't understand. What is the qualification here? Headmaster? I mean, if he's going to be deputy minister, I understand. Then you get someone who is more experienced to be substantive minister. But headmaster becomes regional minister. Are we saying that anybody can do it? Is that what it is? Once again, I don't know his capabilities. But if you tell me that somebody is going from headmaster of a secondary school to a regional minister, you're telling me that a person with a minimum requisite qualification or experience can do it.
So what do you see here? Some sort of trial and error from the presidency to want to make this, hoping that it would work for the country?
Well, sorry, I can't hear you very well.
I'm asking, what do you think these choices that the presidency has made are for? Some sort of trial and error?
Well, it looks like it, because as I said before, the ancient Greek sophists had the idea that any man can occupy any office. In a short order, they found out that is a completely wrong assumption to make. No, you have to pick specific people because of their skills and put them in the right places.
Indeed.
It looks as if you put this one here, put this one there, musical chairs, as they are calling it. And that's how I see it too, right? 6 months and he goes somewhere else. 8 months and he goes somewhere else. When do they get time to learn about the ministry they are supposed to head, to get the culture?
Doc, for you, what would have been the appropriate time for the president to reshuffle the musical chairs like we have described it?
Well, if he's doing it properly, in business they say when you hire a person, the interview process and all the rigorous processes you put him through, that is what determines whether you've got the right person or not. After you have the person, if you make a mistake, it means you didn't do your job right. If you do it right from the beginning, there will be no need to be shuffling people around so often like that. Leave him there at least 2 years, midpoint of the administration. If you switch them around, it's no big deal. But you keep shuffling them 6 months, That is not good at all, because it means that anybody can be anywhere, and it's not true.
Doc, I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Mwakoba is head of Political Science Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. But I'm also joined over the telephone by Member of Parliament for Jaboso, also Deputy Minister Designate for Lands and Natural Resources, Minta Akando. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Akando.
Thank you, my sister.
Mr. Akando, how does your appointment come to you?
Let me say good morning to your listeners this morning, and to start by saying that I have not appeared before the Appointment Committee of Parliament.
And so, rather, your nomination?
Yes, this nomination
Indeed.
subject to the clearance from Parliament. And except to say that I was humbled by the nomination, my sister. I was really, really humbled by this nomination. What I can say is that I am very, very grateful to His Excellency the President.
Mr. Akando, can you speak up just a little for me?
Can you hear me now?
I can, if it stays this way.
Okay. What I'm saying is that first and foremost, I have not appeared before the Appointment Committee of Parliament, and this appointment.
We got that.
Yes, okay. And I also said that I am humbled by this nomination, and to add that I'm very, very grateful to His Excellency the President for the confidence he has reposed in me, and to also promise that I'll put my energy and everything at the disposal of my minister to be able to contribute.
But Mr. Akando, how do you feel about this new position you could be occupying? You feel you cut for the job?
I can't hear you clearly.
I'm asking if you feel you're cut for the job.
I believe sincerely that every member of Parliament qualifies to be a minister or a deputy minister. That is my belief, and that is the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
We know that bit. The question I'm asking is, do you feel that you, as a person, you're cut for the ministry to which you have been nominated to deputizing?
Once I'm cut for Parliament, I'm fit for Parliament, I'm fit for any ministerial appointment.
I see. Now, how about comments about the fact that some of the president's nominations could be misplaced? People may not have the know-how to go to certain ministries. What are your responses to that?
That is entirely their opinion. What is important is that those of us who are coming in, or the ministers, will at the end of the day work hard in order to prove them wrong.
I see. So let's just say that you go through the process and you're minister designate. What are those expertise you're bringing aboard? Well, I think we lost Mr. Akando there. He's Member of Parliament for Jaboso North, and he's also nominated Deputy Minister Designate for the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry.